Earth's night sky looked calm, but deep in space, something was moving, something huge, something powerful. At the North American Space Surveillance Center, hundreds of screens were glowing in the dark room. Radar lines swept across digital maps again and again, and every time they moved, a strange ripple appeared. It was small at first, almost invisible. But the computers caught it. The humans did not understand it. Not yet. Operator Jace leaned closer to his screen and frowned. He had never seen numbers rise so fast. The signal kept growing, like a shadow stretching across the stars. His heartbeat grew louder. He whispered to himself, "This is not normal. This is not a comet. This is something else." Before he could say more, the red warning lights exploded across the room. Alarms screamed. Operators jumped from their seats. The whole control center felt like it had stopped breathing. And then, the doors behind them opened with a loud hiss. Commander Ryland stepped inside. He was calm. Too calm. He walked with quiet confidence, as if he already knew something the others did not. His eyes scanned the screens fast, calculating, understanding. People moved aside to give him space. Nobody wanted to stand in the way of the man who controlled Earth's defense network. Jace pointed at the main display. "Sir, something big is coming in. We don't know what." Ryland didn't blink. "Show me." The massive holographic screen flickered. At first, it showed only stars. Then the stars bent. Warped. Something pushed against space itself. And then, like a curtain pulling back, a colossal fleet appeared. There were hundreds of ships. Maybe thousands. Black metal. Red engines glowing like angry eyes. Spikes, claws, and shapes that no human designer would ever imagine. It looked like a shadow army rising from a nightmare. Someone whispered, "Is that an invasion?" Ryland said nothing. He only stared. His face did not show fear, but inside, his mind was racing. He had trained for war. He had fought in war. But this was different. This was a species that didn't want to negotiate. They didn't want resources. They didn't want peace. They wanted Earth. The alien fleet moved with perfect formation, like hunters closing in on a trapped animal. Their ships swallowed starlight as they approached the blue planet. Then, every screen in the room turned black. A deep, metallic voice echoed through the speakers. "Humans. You will fall in 1 minute. Surrender your world." The same line repeated again and again. Cold. Confident. Final. The aliens didn't threaten. They promised. Officers began to panic. "Sir, they have a Titan-class dreadnought. Their weapons could burn the atmosphere. Sir, their fleet size is beyond anything in our database. We cannot defend against this. We don't have time." Ryland raised his hand. Silence fell instantly. He looked at the countdown clock. 60 seconds. The aliens were mocking them. 1 minute to surrender. 1 minute to accept death. 1 minute to panic. But Ryland did not panic. He turned to his officers. His voice was quiet, but it cut through the fear like a blade. "They think we are weak. They think we are blind. They think we are still the same humans they watched 100 years ago." The officers looked at him with confusion. What did he mean? Ryland stepped closer to the main console and placed his hand on a biometric panel. The system scanned his palm. Lights shifted. Locks disengaged. A hidden interface appeared. A secret the world didn't know. "Sir, what is that?" one officer asked with shaky breath. Ryland did not answer. His eyes stayed fixed on the alien ships approaching Earth like a dark cloud. "They believe they can crush us before the first minute ends," he said. "Let's show them what humans learned in silence." The officers stared. What had Earth built? What weapon was strong enough to stop a fleet like that? The countdown hit 40 seconds. Alien warships moved into attack position. Their red engines flared brighter. Their weapons glowed with deadly energy. The whole planet was seconds away from destruction. Jace whispered, "Sir, are we really going to use that?" "We have no choice," Rylan said. "If we do nothing, Earth will burn." His fingers hovered over a final command key. The room felt like a storm ready to explode. Officers swallowed hard. Engineers held their breath. Every heartbeat echoed like a drum. The countdown hit 20 seconds. The alien voice returned, louder this time. "Surrender. You cannot win." Rylan muttered under his breath, "They still don't understand humans." The countdown hit 10 seconds. Rylan pressed the command. Deep under Earth's surface, giant machines awakened. A silent wave spread from the planet's poles. Invisible. Fast. Unstoppable. Nobody understood what it was. Nobody could see it. But the aliens saw it on their sensors. And they reacted with fear. Their screens burst with static. Their shields collapsed. Their formations broke. Ships flew out of control. Pilots screamed in confusion. Their systems died one by one, like candles in a storm. Inside Earth's control room, every officer watched in shock. "Sir, what did we just do?" Rylan stared at the chaos on screen. The alien armada was falling apart, before even firing a single shot. He spoke softly. "We just showed them why invading Earth is the last mistake they'll ever make." The alien fleet chaos was only beginning. What Earth released was invisible, silent, and unknown, but its effect shook the enemy like a hammer hitting glass. Warships that once looked unstoppable now drifted helplessly, their engines flickering like dying stars. Inside the alien flagship, alarms blared. Red lights flashed across metallic walls. Officers with dark armor ran to their stations, shouting in a language that sounded sharp and violent. Their commander, a tall creature with glowing silver eyes, slammed his claws on the control table. "Human attack detected," one officer cried. "Our systems are crashing. We cannot stabilize." "Impossible," the commander growled. "Humans have no such technology." But the evidence was right in front of him. Their sensors showed thousands of errors. Navigation was blind. Shields were gone. Weapons were offline. Their fleet, their proud, glorious armada, was collapsing without a single human ship firing a shot. Back on Earth, the control room was silent. Everyone stared at the screens, unable to believe what they were seeing. Jace whispered, "Sir, we didn't fire a missile. We didn't shoot a laser. But their fleet is falling apart." Commander Rylan kept his eyes on the holographic display. He studied the alien formations breaking like broken pieces of dark metal. "This is only phase 1, he said quietly. "Do not celebrate yet." His calm tone sent a chill down every spine. If this was only phase 1, then how powerful was phase 2? Rylan tapped a few commands on the secret interface. More systems unlocked. More lights activated. The Earth Defense Network was revealing layers that even most generals didn't know existed. On the hologram, several alien warships attempted to realign themselves. Their engines glowed brighter as they tried to recover. The flagship broadcasted a new message across the void. "Humans, this trick will not save you. We are the Dominion. We conquer stars. We break worlds." Rylan narrowed his eyes. "And you expected Earth to be easy." The officers around him felt the tension rise again. They all realized the same thing: the aliens were preparing to attack again. Even damaged, their fleet still had enough firepower to destroy continents. Jace's voice was shaky. "Sir, what if they fire again? What if they recover fully? We don't have much time. Rylan finally turned toward him. Then we don't let them recover. He placed his hand on the second activation pad. Prepare for Phase 2. Deep in orbit, giant metallic satellites awakened. They looked harmless, silent silver shapes drifting near the atmosphere. But inside them, energy cores began to hum. Blue sparks flickered across their surfaces. Panels shifted and unfolded like wings. The alien commander noticed this instantly. Unknown satellites activating, one officer screamed. They are charging energy. The commander's eyes widened. Destroy them. Fire at once. Alien warships tried to turn their cannons, but their targeting systems lagged. Their power levels dropped. Their weapons fired too late, and too weak. A few bright red shots flew toward the satellites, but they missed, drifting into empty space. Earth's satellites did not miss. With a sudden flash, hundreds of blue energy arcs burst forward. They cut through space like lightning. They hit alien ships with brutal force, melting armor, slicing hulls, tearing through shieldless metal like hot knives through ice. In the control room, engineers gasped. Sir. Arc lances are stable. 92% power and rising. Rylan nodded. Good. Keep firing. The hologram showed alien ships exploding one after another. Each blast lit up the sky. The fleet that once looked immortal was now breaking apart like shattered glass. But the suspense did not end there. One massive alien cruiser started spinning uncontrollably. Its wing ripped off. Another ship collided with it, causing a chain explosion. The shockwave knocked 3 more ships out of formation. The alien commander roared, "How are humans doing this? What technology is this?" His officers trembled. "Commander, if this continues, the fleet will be lost." "Not yet," the commander hissed. "Activate emergency shields. Prepare counterattack. We will crush them." But their systems refused. Lights on the control panels faded. Data vanished. Their engines died. The Dominion was trapped in a battlefield where only Earth controlled the rules. On Earth, the officers watched with wide eyes. "Sir, they're trying to fight back, but they can't." Rylan didn't smile. He didn't celebrate. He simply said, "Humans learn from every war in history. We learned fast. We learned secretly. And now, we reveal what we built." The alien fleet struggled in silence, like beasts caught in an invisible net. A huge shadow appeared on the hologram, the alien dreadnought, the largest ship in the fleet, still barely functional, still trying to move. Jace swallowed hard. "Sir, the dreadnought is preparing something. Something big." Rylan stared at the massive ship. Its engines pulsed with violent energy. "It's not over," he whispered. And for the first time, he wasn't calm. The alien dreadnought, a giant beast of metal, moved slowly through the dark. Even damaged, even half-blind, it looked terrifying. Its hull was scarred from Earth's energy arcs, but its core was still burning bright. It was the heart of the Dominion fleet, and it refused to die. In the Earth control room, everyone stared at the screen as the dreadnought's energy levels rose. "Sir, the ship is charging something," Jace said with fear, his hands shaking over the console. "It looks like a planet-killer blast. If they fire it, Earth will not survive." For the first time, Rylan felt the weight in his chest. Phase 1 and Phase 2 had torn the fleet apart, but this dreadnought was different. It was ancient. Powerful. A weapon designed to erase civilizations. He whispered to himself, "So, this is their real strength." Engineers rushed to their systems. Officers typed commands fast. The room filled with noise again, fear, urgency, pressure. A young officer spoke, his voice weak, "Sir, should we activate Phase 3? Rylan froze. Phase 3. It was the most dangerous system Earth had ever built. A weapon humans themselves feared. A weapon that had never been tested. A weapon so powerful that even using it could damage the planet it was meant to protect. Not yet, Rylan said sharply. If we use Phase 3 too early, we lose control. On the screen, the dreadnought's front opened like a giant metal flower. Inside, a glowing sphere of red light spun violently. Space around it twisted like soft cloth being pulled. Jace stepped back. Sir, they're opening a gravity cannon. The words hit the room like lightning. A gravity cannon was not a normal weapon, it pulled space inward and crushed everything in its path. Ships. Cities. Planets. We don't have time, an engineer shouted. If they fire that thing, Earth will be gone. Rylan stared at the screen. His eyes were sharp, cold, calculating. He could feel the pressure of millions of lives on his shoulders. But he also knew something the others didn't. The dreadnought was strong. But humans were no longer helpless. He turned to his team. Prepare the shadow network. Everyone froze. Sir, you can't be serious, Jace whispered. The shadow network hasn't been tested. It could. It's our only chance, Rylan said. Deep inside Earth's orbit, black satellite panels opened slowly. These were not like the Arkland satellites. These were darker. Silent. Almost invisible. They absorbed light instead of reflecting it. They looked like empty pieces of space, but their cores were not empty. Each one held energy older than any human civilization. On the alien dreadnought, panic grew. Commander, an alien officer yelled. Multiple unknown structures activating around Earth. The commander bared his sharp teeth. It does not matter. Our cannon is almost ready. Once we fire, Earth is dust. But something strange happened. Their sensors flickered. The space around the dreadnought rippled gently. At first, it felt like nothing. A small shift. A tiny vibration. Then it grew. The dreadnought itself shuddered. What is happening? An alien scientist cried. Something is touching our gravity core. The commander snarled. No human weapon can reach us from this distance. But that was the problem. It wasn't a weapon. It was something far worse. Back on Earth, Rylan watched the dreadnought's energy signature destabilize. Shadow field is connecting, sir, an engineer said. But readings are strange. How strange? Rylan asked. Sir, it looks like we're bending their weapon, back toward them. The room fell silent. The shadow network wasn't attacking the dreadnought. It was reflecting its own energy. Turning its own gravity against itself. Jace whispered, Sir, if this works, their ship will collapse. And if it doesn't? Rylan asked quietly. Then Earth will collapse, Jace said. The dreadnought began to tremble violently. Its metal plates bent inward. Lights flickered. Alien officers screamed in confusion. Gravitational feedback, their scientist shouted. It's reversing. Our weapon is turning on us. The commander slammed his claws down. Impossible. Shut it down. We cannot, the officers cried. It has locked us out. Rylan watched as the dreadnought twisted, like a massive beast trying to fight its own shadow. But shadows don't lose. The glowing ball inside the dreadnought tensed. Swelled. And then cracked. A soundless shockwave rippled across space. The giant ship folded into itself. Like paper crushed by an invisible hand. Like a star collapsing into darkness. And then. It vanished. Not destroyed. Not exploded. Just gone. The entire control room gasped. Sir, did we just erase a dreadnought, an officer said in disbelief. Rylan exhaled slowly. Shadow network worked. But he did not smile. Because something felt wrong. Jace checked his screen and froze. Sir, this is not over. Rylan turned sharply. Explain. Jace pointed at a new signal forming on the hologram. A bigger one. A deeper one. Sir, we just woke something up. The room grew cold. And the real danger began. The dreadnought had vanished, folded into nothing, erased by its own weapon. For a moment, Earth's control room felt breathless. Officers stared at the hologram in disbelief. Engineers froze mid-sentence. No one moved. Commander Rylan stood still, watching the empty space where the massive ship had been just seconds ago. He expected relief. He expected victory. But instead, he felt a heaviness in his chest. Something wasn't right. Jace's voice broke the silence. Sir, that signal. It didn't disappear. It changed. Rylan turned his head slowly. Show me. Jace zoomed into the data. A deep pulse appeared, slow, heavy, unnatural. It didn't look like a ship. It didn't look like a weapon. It looked like a heartbeat in space. The room grew quiet again. An engineer whispered, Sir, did we trigger something? Rylan didn't answer. His eyes locked onto the pulse. Far in the dark, something enormous was moving. Something beyond the dreadnought. Something older. Something the Dominion should never have brought near Earth. A low hum echoed through space, like a sleeping giant waking from a 1,000-year rest. Contact, a radar officer shouted. Multiple new signals approaching. They're huge. How huge? Rylan asked. The officer swallowed hard. Bigger than the dreadnought, sir. The hologram blinked. Then a new shape appeared. And everyone stepped back. It wasn't a ship. It wasn't metal. It wasn't even built. It was born. A living construct the size of a mountain, wrapped in dark armor, glowing veins of red energy pulsing across its form. Its wings looked like shards of shadow. Its eyes burned with cold, ancient hatred. Jace's voice trembled. Sir, what is that? Rylan felt his stomach drop. A Dominion sovereign. The room gasped. Legend said the sovereigns weren't commanders. They weren't soldiers. They were living engines of destruction, creatures created by the Dominion to break planets when ships failed. Nobody had seen one in centuries. Because no one survived to talk about it. On the alien side, the remaining warships began to regroup behind the creature, like frightened children hiding behind their guardian. The Sovereign stretched its wings, and space bent around it like thin paper. It let out a rumbling growl that shook the sensors on Earth. It wasn't speaking. It wasn't threatening. It was hungry. Sir, the engineer said, voice cracking, this thing is absorbing the remains of their destroyed ships. It's getting stronger. Rylan clenched his jaw. So they brought a sovereign. I didn't think they were desperate enough to wake one. Yes sir, Jace stuttered, can our phase systems fight this thing? Rylan didn't answer. Not because he didn't want to. Because he wasn't sure. The sovereign's chest began to glow with blinding red light. It was gathering energy, enough to break a planet in half. If it fired that blast, Earth's atmosphere would tear apart. Oceans would boil. Cities would crumble. Officers rushed to their stations. Panic rose again. Sir. We need to evacuate key shelters. Sir. Should we activate Phase 3 now? Sir. Earth won't survive that blast. Rylan shouted louder than the alarms. Silence. The room stopped. He pointed at the growing red sphere in the creature's chest. That is not a normal weapon. That is a sovereign hardcore. Phase 3 won't stop it. Jace stared at him. Then what will? Rylan walked toward a locked compartment behind the main console. He placed his hand on a second biometric scanner. A deep metallic click sounded. The panel opened. Inside was a single key, black, polished, carved with ancient human symbols. Engineers froze. Officers stared. "Sir, that's the failsafe," Rylan finished. "The one we swore to never use." Jace blinked. "Sir, the failsafe can't be controlled. It could kill us too." Rylan looked at the hologram again. The Sovereign's heart core reached full brightness. Space cracked around it. Energy waves rippled like storms. "We won't survive without it," he said. With a heavy breath, he inserted the key. Deep below Earth's crust, entire caverns lit up. Machines older than modern history activated. Giant coils stirred. Devices built in silence, in darkness, in fear, devices humans never wanted to use, began to hum. The Earth itself vibrated. "Failsafe charging," an AI voice whispered through the speakers. "Warning, global risk level critical." Rylan whispered, "Do it." A beam shot from Earth, thin, silver, silent. It hit the Sovereign. And for the first time, the creature screamed. But its scream wasn't fear. It was fury. Its wings spread wide. It roared. Its heart core exploded with violent energy, meeting the failsafe beam head-on. Space turned white. Every sensor went blind. Every screen shut off. Earth shook. People screamed. Officers tried to regain control, but nothing worked. The failsafe beam wavered. The Sovereign pushed harder. Jace looked at Rylan. "Sir. It's overpowering us." Rylan clenched his fists. "Hold the line." And then a new signal appeared on the sensors. Even stronger. Even deeper. Even more terrifying. Jace whispered, "Yes, sir, something else is coming." Rylan's eyes widened. The real battle had not even begun. The blinding white light slowly faded, but the terror did not. Earth's control room flickered back to life. Officers shielded their eyes, screens rebooted, and every sensor screamed with overload warnings. Dust fell from the ceiling. Some equipment sparked. The failsafe beam had nearly torn the planet apart from the inside. But the Sovereign? It was still there. Barely injured. Its wings cracked with red lightning. Its armor burned with hot molten lines. Its eyes, two burning suns, glared at Earth with pure hatred. Jace felt his stomach twist. "Sir, the failsafe didn't kill it." Rylan stared in disbelief. The failsafe was Earth's last resort. Humanity's darkest creation. The one weapon that was supposed to erase anything. But the Sovereign had survived. Over the speakers, a deep static rumbled, then a voice emerged. Low. Broken. Echoing like a demon from the void. "Humans, you fight well, but you cannot stop a Sovereign." Every officer froze. It wasn't threatening. It was promising. The creature spread its wings again. The red energy in its chest began forming a new heart core, brighter and hotter than before. The space around it shook. Time itself trembled. If it fired this blast, Earth would not just die. It would be erased. Engineers panicked. Officers shouted. Everyone scrambled for options that didn't exist. Jace turned to Rylan, voice cracking, "Sir. What now? What do we do? We have no weapon left." Rylan didn't speak. Not because he was afraid. Because, he finally understood something. The Sovereign hadn't come because Earth was weak. It came because Earth was strong. Too strong. The Dominion didn't send this creature to win a war. They sent it to prevent a future one. Earth had shown power they shouldn't have. Weapons humans weren't supposed to create. The Dominion feared what Earth could become in a century. They wanted to stop humanity now. Before humans overtook them. Rylan exhaled. They're not invading us. They're afraid of us. Jace blinked. Sir, that doesn't help us. Rylan suddenly turned to his officers. His voice was sharp, commanding, filled with a fire none of them had heard before. Listen to me. The Sovereign survived because we attacked it like a ship. But it is not a ship. It is alive. And every living thing has a weakness. And what is its weakness? Jace shouted. Rylan looked up. The heart core. It gathers power from the space around it. So we don't attack the Sovereign. He paused. We attack the space it needs. The room fell silent. Sir, what does that mean? An engineer asked quietly. Rylan stepped to the console and opened a final locked panel. A circular glowing interface rose from the table. It showed a strange model of Earth's orbital grid. Jace gasped. Sir, that's the Echo Web. Most officers had never even heard of it. The Echo Web wasn't a weapon. It wasn't a defense system. It was something far stranger. A network of satellites designed to bend space, twist gravity, reflect energy, and redirect cosmic pressure. It wasn't built for war. But maybe war was the only time to use it. Rylan slammed his palm onto the interface. Connect the Echo Web. Full resonance mode. Engineers panicked. Sir. That will tear open space around Earth. It could create a collapse field. I know, Rylan said. Do it anyway. One by one, satellites across the planet lit up. Blue lines connected them like glowing veins. A giant grid formed around Earth, shimmering, humming, vibrating with unnatural energy. On the hologram, the Sovereign paused. It sensed something. Something dangerous. Something human. The creature roared, its voice shaking the sensors. Its heart core swelled, reaching planet-killer power. Rylan raised his hand. Fire the web. The Echo Web activated. Space around the Sovereign bent. The energy it gathered tore away from its chest, sucked into invisible tunnels. Its heart core flickered. Its wings twisted. Its power, its life, began collapsing. The creature screamed. Not furious. Not proud. Terrified. Sir. Jace yelled. It's working. We're draining its core. It can't charge. Push it. Rylan shouted. Don't let it recover. The Echo Web glowed brighter. Rings of bending space tightened around the Sovereign. Energy tore from its body like streams of light. Its remaining power drained into the web like a giant cosmic whirlpool. The creature thrashed. Wings shattered. Armor cracked. Its roar weakened. Then. Silence. The Sovereign's body began to break apart, turning into dust, dissolving into thin ribbons of red energy, pulled deeper into the Echo Web until even its shadow vanished. Finally. The creature was gone. Forever. The control room erupted in screams of relief, cheers, tears. Engineers hugged each other. Officers collapsed into chairs. Jace sat on the floor, laughing and crying at the same time. We did it, he whispered. We actually did it. But Rylan didn't celebrate. He stared at the hologram, watching the empty space where the Sovereign used to be. Jace slowly stood up. Sir. It's over, right? Rylan shook his head. No. The Dominion will learn what happened here. They will return. And next time, they won't send one Sovereign. Jace felt a chill. Then what do we do? Rylan looked at Earth through the observatory window. A small blue planet that had just defeated the impossible. "We prepare," he said softly. "Because now, humanity is no longer prey. Now we're a threat." And in the deep, cold space beyond their sensors, something enormous opened its eyes. Something that had been watching. Something that whispered. "The humans awaken."